All right, national anthem complete. We are ready for the starting lineups. A team will play first tonight, followed by the B. St. Peter's played last night against a strong Riverton team. Held it close in the first half. Riverton came out strong in the second half, ended up winning the game by quite a bit, but it was 22 to 19 at half. All right, I guess no introduction, so we'll go right to the tip. That's a tip, and St. Peter's gets the first possession. Ball knocked away by the Cougars. Throw in for the Warriors. Number 31 is Elsie Anderson taking the throw in. Into Charlie Green, and she nails the 2-point basket. St. Peter Warriors out to the 2-0 lead. Pass to the wing, deflected away by the Warriors. That was number 11, Ruby Keller. Ainsley Gibson inbounds across to Leah Thomas. Up top for Adeline Jones, back to Thomas. Ball deflected by the Warriors. Thomas able to get back to it. Kicks it into the corner for Jones, across court to Gibson, and too high. She can't handle the pass. Out of play. Inbound for the Warriors. Charlie Green there to take the inbound. Into number 11, Keller. Cougars in a full court press. Green, Jones got away with the backcourt. Gets it down low to Prater. Prater back up top to Thomas. Ball deflected away by Keller. Thomas gets it over to Jones. Over to Pink. Back up top to Thomas. Thomas into the paint, kicks it to the left wing for Jones. Shot over the rim. Ainsley Gibson, hustle play, trying to keep it in. Goes hard off the wall and out of bounds back to the Warriors. Green inbounding for the Warriors. Cougars in that full court press. Over to Keller. Keller picks it up, gets it forward to number 32, Bradshaw. And over and back call on the Warriors. Ball back to the Cougars. Sub in the game for the Warriors, number 32, Bradshaw subbing out as number 34, Stanley checks in. Gibson over to Jones. She's able to reel it in and get it over to Thomas. Wild pass stolen away by the Warriors, but Thomas hustles back and wins it back. Into the short corner for Pink. Pink across for Gibson, goes over to Prater. Backside rebound by Addison Pink, and the game is tied 2-2. Green into Keller. Trap comes. Ball into the middle for number 34, Stanley. Down low, around the rim, and falls out. Gibson, good rebound and outlet to Thomas. Thomas out on the break. Pass across to Jones. Jones off the glass. Prater with the backside rebound, back to Pink. Pink tries to go up and is tied up, and it's a jump ball. Arrow to the Cougars. There's some confusion there. Looks like there's something sitting in front of the arrow that's blocking the ref's view. Gibson into Prater. Ball deflected by the Warriors. Transition opportunity for Anderson. Anderson pulls it up to the three-point line. Pass to nobody. Hustle for the ball. The Warriors are able to gather it. Keller tries to get baseline. Nice shot. Ruby Keller with a step back jumper. Jones into the short corner for Pink. Pink pivots through, gets it back to Jones. Jones from 10 feet, backside rebound by Gibson. And that's another jump ball. This time the arrow is the Warriors. Cougars stay in that trapping press. Ball to Anderson. Gibson picks her up. Anderson picks the dribble up into the middle. Prater steals. Prater pivots through, finds Thomas. It's too strong off the backboard. And last touch by the Cougars. Leah Thomas had a wide open lane. If she just put a dribble down, she could have got right to the basket. Anderson over to Green. Prater reaches in and gets called for the foul. First foul of the game goes against the Cougars. Ball into Keller. Keller does the crossover dribble. Thomas right there to tie her up. And another jump ball, this time the Cougars. Number 13, Sickman, and number 21, Ziebert checking in the game for the Warriors. Gibson across the timeline, picks up her dribble, gets it over to Prater on the right wing. One more into the corner for Jones. Jones with a dangerous pass in the middle, falls to Pink. Pink too strong off the glass. Gibson slaps it away and out of bounds. Ball back to the Warriors. Keller inbounding for the Warriors. Into Sickman. Back to Keller. Keller with the left hand, good dribble all the way into the front court. Picks up her dribble in the low block, back to Ziebert at the wing. Shot from the top by number 13, Allie Sickman, goes short and out of bounds, and ball back to the Cougars. Gibson brings it up, picks up her dribble. Jones drives in and gets the roll. Game tied again at 4. Ziebert inbounding for the Warriors. They get it into Keller. Keller back to Ziebert on the drop pass. Into the front court to Sickman. Leah Thomas steps in and steals it. Thomas trying to go coast to coast. Keller cuts her off to the elbow for Jones, deflected away. Jones able to get back to it. Pass wide to Prater, and foul called on number 11. I'm sorry, that's number 1. Hornick. Thomas steps on the line and turnover back to the Warriors. Green inbounding, gets it into Ziebert. Green picks up the dribble across the timeline, able to get it forward to number 32, Bradshaw. Down low for Keller and pass back to Ziebert. Rebound by Pink. Pink looks for the outlet, goes to Jones in the middle. Double team comes, Jones tries to pass it down low, gets the ball back and puts in the floater from 8 feet. And the Cougars have their first lead of the game, 6-4. Prater reaches in and is able to get the tie up. It is the Warriors' arrow. They'll maintain possession on the inbound. Cougars really giving the Warriors trouble in that full court press. Ziebert brings it down the line. Wild pass, Pink's there to steal it. Pink through the middle. Feeds it to Gibson. Gibson strong off the glass, backside rebound. Prater had a hand on it, falls to Thomas. Thomas looking for an option and Goes up strong, draws the foul. Leah Thomas will go to the line to shoot 2. Off the back rim on the first. Too strong on the second. Fight for the rebound. Siebert and Jones on the tie-up. It will be the Cougars' ball underneath. Leah Thomas inbounding. Looking for the cutter. Goes into Gibson. Ball's loose and traveling called. Don't know about that call. The ball was not secure. You can't travel if you don't have control. Inbound knocked away by Gibson. Another inbound for Green. Green into Sickman. Back to Green. Thomas picks her up. Green with a wild pass into the front court. Gibson's there trying to find it. Able to secure it, gets it over to Pink. Pink one more wild pass to Thomas. Thomas back to Jones. Jones drives in, gets away with the travel. Over to Pink. Pink driving baseline, picks up the dribble to kick it back up top. Wild pass over the top. Sickman gets there. Thomas chases back and gets a touch on it. And sorry, I didn't get the clock running there. 16 seconds on the clock. It is the Warriors' ball. Green into Keller. And traveling called on Keller as she was trying to rip through that challenge. Not sure about that one. All right, ball into Gibson. 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Gibson over to Prater. Prater to Jones on the right wing. Jones goes baseline, pull up from 15. Strong off the glass, touched by McCauley, but that's by St. Peter's, but that's the end of the quarter. And after 6 minutes, Cougars lead 6-4. All right, Warriors have the arrow to start the second quarter. 6 minutes on the clock. Number 31, Elsie Anderson, back in the game to inbound for the Warriors. Into Keller. Keller loses the handle and takes the extra step as she regathers. Traveling called. Ball back to the Cougars. Quaddy and Schumacher in the game for the Cougars to start the second quarter. Schumacher to Jones. Jones into the lane, gets it to Studer. Sadie Studer also in the game for the first time here in the second quarter. Jones drives baseline, picks it up from 12 off the front of the glass. Quaddy gets the rebound, goes for the shot. Studer gets another offensive rebound and gets fouled on the shot. Sadie Studer will go to the line for 2 free throws. Studer a little strong on the first. Nice touch on the second, just a little short off the front of the rim. Rebound pulled down by the Warriors. Anderson ahead. Jones picks her up. Anderson picks up the dribble. Pass to the corner, and nobody's there to receive it. Out of bounds back to the Cougars. Warriors drop back into the half-court defense. Quaddy and Schumacher in the backcourt to run the offense. Schumacher pushes it into the front court, gets it over to Jones on the wing. Jones tries to split the double, can't control it. Ball falls to Anderson. Anderson pushing all the way. Loses control, gets it back to Green at the top. Warriors setting up an action. Schumacher reads it. Schumacher all the way to the basket. Looks for Studer. And doesn't get the shot off. Stolen back by the Warriors. Green gets it over to number 32, Bradshaw. Keller gets away with the extra step. Ball deflected. Down low for number 1. That's Hornick. And the Warriors have tied it at 6. Schumacher to Jones. Over to Studer on the wing. Studer into the paint, kicks it back to Jones. Jones back out to Schumacher. Schumacher to Quaddy. Quaddy from 12, off the glass. Loose ball, rebound pulled down by Keller for the Warriors. Green slows it up. Pass to the left wing. That's Hornick. Hornick baseline. Jones picks her up to defend. Hornick picks up her dribble. Quaddy slaps it away. Loose ball on the ground. Quaddy's able to get to it. And jump ball called. It is the Cougars' possession. Pink and Jones subbing out as Thomas and Gibson check back in for the Cougars. Schumacher quickly up to Thomas. Thomas to the elbow for Studer. Studer goes for the shot, backside rebound by Gibson, and that looked more like an alley-oop. Gibson finishes it on the backside. Cougars still in the full court. Keller on the dribble. Gets past Thomas. Gibson picks her up. Keller takes the extra step as she's trying to find an option. Gibson, nice job stepping up to defender. And the Warriors want a timeout. Take a look at that basket by the Warriors. That's number 1, Tess Hornick. Followed by the basket by Ainsley Gibson. Studer drops that ball off to Gibson down low. Cougars done a nice job with the backside rebound tonight. Several of those second chance opportunities. All right, after the timeout, it is the Cougars' ball. Gibson brings it forward into the front court for the Cougars. Over to Schumacher. One more to Thomas. Thomas looks in, finds Studer in the short corner. She kicks it back up to Schumacher. Schumacher gets the dribble down, trying to turn, gets it to Thomas. Thomas finds a lane in, off the glass, and in for 2 more points for the Cougars. Leah Thomas with a soft touch off the glass. Keller brings it ahead, crossover dribble, gets into the paint. Thomas stuffs her. Keller's able to get the ball back, shoots again, and this time gets fouled by Thomas. And Number 11, Ruby Keller, will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Keller too strong on the first. 2 subs at the line to check in for the Warriors. Number 34, that's Stanley. And number 10, Charlie Green, back in the game for the Warriors. Keller long on the second as well. Rebound pulled down by Quaddy. Up to Schumacher. Schumacher to the short corner for Thomas. Thomas backside to Studer. Gibson with another rebound. And jump ball called, arrow back to the Warriors. Again, Cougars doing a really good job on the backside rebounds. Lily Prater checking back in the game for the Cougars as Lila Quaddy takes a seat. Keller walking it up into the front court for the Warriors. Thomas defending. Dribble handoff to Green. Green goes for the floater. Anderson there for the air ball rebound. Back to Green at the top. Swing into the corner for Stanley. Back to Keller. Keller tries to push through the double, and blocking foul called on the Cougars. That's Thomas, I believe. That's her second. Second team foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Late buzzer substitution for the Warriors. Green's able to find Anderson. Anderson gets it off the glass, but Studer pulls down the rebound. And was that traveling called? I'm sorry, I didn't see what the call was on that. Green into Ziebert. Double team comes. She gets it to the elbow to Stanley, but knocked away by the Cougars. Thomas out ahead. Thomas tries to make the pass over the top. Gibson gets on the floor and ties it up, and it's the Cougars' arrow. They'll get an inbound underneath. Ball into Stanley after the deflection. Stanley, good rip through, tries to find Prater. Warriors steal, that's Anderson. Anderson picks up the dribble, gets it over to Ziebert. Back to Anderson. Loose ball, Gibson steps in to get the steal. And foul called on the Warriors, I believe. That's the second team foul on the Warriors. That was called on Keller. Schumacher into the front court. Over to Prater. One more to Thomas. Thomas able to secure it into the short corner for Studer. Studer, nice move to get an open shot. Gibson backside rebound. Thomas there for another rebound. Kicks it out to Gibson. Schumacher goes for the save but can't keep it in. And ball back to the Warriors. Anderson into Green. Thomas and Schumacher there for the double. Able to get it through to Anderson. Thomas coming for the sweep from behind. Leah Thomas gets a hand on it but can't control it and knocks it out for a throw in underneath for the Warriors. Warriors in. Number 34 is Stanley with the shot. Rebound by Ziebert. Ziebert tries to pass it to Anderson, deflected by Studer, and the shot by Anderson goes in. 10-8 the score. Schumacher to Thomas. Thomas picks up the dribble, gets it back to Schumacher on the wing. Good rip through to get it over to Prater. Prater back to Schumacher. Schumacher with a crossover, kicks it to Studer, and Studer takes a shot, gets fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. Nice ball movement by the Cougars. First shot off to the right. 38 seconds left in the second quarter. Cougars with a 10-8 lead. Second shot, fight for the rebound with Anderson and Gibson. Ruled out on Gibson, and it's a throw-in for the Warriors. Green into Keller. Schumacher there tightly defending. Back to Green. He's able to get it to Siebert on the near side. Gibson comes up to trap her. She's able to find Keller. Keller for a long two off the bottom of the rim. Anderson gets the rebound. Anderson wild pass. Prater deflects. Goes to Thomas. Thomas through the middle, looks up for Prater. Tough pass though. Siebert tries to keep it in. And out of bounds. Cougars will have it underneath. 13 seconds left in the second quarter. Gibson inbounding. Gets it into Thomas. Ball deflected. Thomas finds Schumacher from 12 feet. Too strong. Backside rebound by Prater. Ball knocked out. Prater tried to put the dribble down. Knocked it off of Stanley's foot, and it will be the Cougars' ball underneath. 6 seconds to play. Actually 7 seconds on the official clock. Gibson looking for an option. Finds Prater late. Prater too strong. Studer there for the backside rebound and puts it in. And the Cougars just feasting on those backside rebounds here in the first half. We'll go to halftime with the 12-8 lead. All right, we'll take an audio break here and send you through the first half recap. We'll be back in, looks like 4.5 minutes for the second half. All right, we're here, third quarter underway. Warriors start with the possession arrow. Prater gets the steal across to Jones, but behind her. Jones fights for it. Can't get there in time as she dives over to the sideline. Turnover back to the Warriors. Charlie Green jogs it up into the front court for the Warriors. Horinek into the corner for Anderson. Anderson long two off the front of the rim. Jones there to pull down the rebound. Jones out pushing. Into the paint. Kicks it over to Prater. Prater from 15 backside. Rebound attempt by Gibson, knocked away by the Warriors, and it'll be the Cougars' ball underneath. Gibson taking the inbound. Prater's wide open. She finds Jones down low, and Jones with the easy basket. Cougars extend the lead to 6, largest lead of the night. Green bringing it into the front court for the Warriors. Into the corner to Keller. Keller picks up a dribble. Jones slaps it away from behind. Anderson pressing tightly. Keller comes up. Jones gets through, gets it over to Prater on the right wing. Down low for Jones in the paint. Gibson with the rebound, puts it back, and finds the roll. Gibson with the soft touch. Cougars now with an 8-point lead, and the Warriors want another timeout here early in the third quarter. Two baskets already here in the quarter for the Cougars. Nice patience on the inbound play by Gibson to find Jones on the late cut. And then Gibson scores one of her own on the backside rebound. Able to get the bounce. All right, some confusion on whose ball it is. It's the Warriors inbound. Cougars pick up full court, ball into Keller. Keller able to get sideline, cuts it back into the middle. Down low for number 1, Horinek, and she gets fouled. She'll go to the line for 2 free throws. That foul was called on Prater. Tess Horinek, left-handed shooter, short on the first. Second one long off to the right. Thomas pulls down the rebound into transition. Thomas, wild pass into the middle, and Green's there to steal it. Cougars immediately into a press. Warriors get it to Anderson. Anderson over to Keller. Keller from 15. Shot misses everything and out of bounds. Back to the Cougars. Nora Marin's at the line to check in for the Cougars, checking in for Leah Thomas. Prater jogs it into the front court for the Cougars. Dangerous pass to Gibson. And Cougars get bailed out with a foul call on Keller. That's Keller's second foul of the game. Marins inbounds to Gibson. Gibson back to Marins on the wing, across to Jones. Dangerous pass stolen away by Keller. Keller pulls up from 15. Nora Marins gets a hand on it to secure the rebound to Jones. Jones dribbling down the right side, being tightly defended by Keller, and Keller picks up a quick third foul here in the third quarter. Gibson into Marins. Marins thought about it, goes baseline, picks up her dribble looking for an option. Gets it up to Jones at the elbow, and Keller now with her 4th foul. That's the 3rd foul of the quarter. Marins looking for the inbound. Gets it into Jones. Foul called on Horinek. And that's the 4th foul of the quarter on the Warriors. Marins gets it into Gibson. Gibson gets tied up, but foul is called. And that's the 5th team foul. The scoreboard has it wrong. They have it as 4 and 2, but it is the 5th foul. Into Jones. Rebound by Marins. And jump ball called. Cougars have the arrow. Gibson tries to chest pass the inbound and gets knocked away by the Warriors. Anderson takes the long 3, almost got it to fall. Pink there with the rebound outlet to Prater. Prater picks up her dribble, looking for an option. Gets it over to Marins. Marins takes her eye off the ball and loses it out of play. Back to the Warriors. Keller on the line, takes the long 2. Addison Pink gets a hand on it, can't secure the rebound. Anderson comes away with it. Horinek there on the backside for the Warriors, but can't control it and knocked out of play back to the Cougars. Gibson and Prater sub out as Sadie Studer and Addie Schumacher check in for the Cougars. Schumacher to Jones, kicks it to Marins, back up top to Schumacher. Across to Studer, deflected by Keller. Studer to Pink at the elbow. Pink pivots through. Ball deflected. Studer able to get back to it. Over to Jones on the left wing. Jones goes baseline, pulls up from 10. Backside rebound by Marins, kicks it back to Schumacher. Schumacher off the glass, too strong. Jones comes in along with Keller, and jump ball. This time the arrow is the Warriors. Gibson and Prater checking back in the game after a quick break. Jones and Pink subbing out. Keller slowing it down. Keller, the jump stop shot from 12, and she gets it to go. 16-10 now the score. Marins finds Studer. Studer, nice move to get through. Gibson with the backside rebound, pulls it away. Loose ball goes to Prater. Prater from the free throw line. Horinek gets the rebound for the Warriors. Keller from the elbow. She fumbles it and gets called for the double dribble. Prater over to Marins on the right wing. Tries to find Gibson at the elbow. Loose ball. Prater gets on the floor. And another jump ball. This time the arrow goes to the Cougars. Marins gets it into Studer. Studer at the elbow, picks it up, gets it back to Prater. Prater to Schumacher. Oh, Schumacher throws it away without looking. And Green's there to steal it. Green slowing it up as the Warriors run in action. Prater comes up to give pressure. Down low, Studer steals it. Studer looking for an option, finds Prater all alone down low, and Prater puts it in. Number 34, Stanley, was defending Prater, but they got tripped up. Stanley went to the ground, and Prater was left wide open for the easy basket. Under a minute to play. Green over to Stanley, and Stanley can't get up to it. Ball back to the Cougars. Under a minute to play. Prater walking it up court. Over to Marins. Marins into the short corner for Studer. Studer pivots, tries to get it back, gets it to Marins. Marins inside to Gibson. Gibson off the glass. Backside rebound, Stanley and Schumacher there. Schumacher's able to tie it up. And the arrow is the Warriors. Green over to Ziebert. Ziebert gets away with some happy feet there. Drives in, backside rebound by Anderson, and she puts it in for the basket. Prater ahead. Dangerous pass to Gibson. Gibson able to get back to it. Gets it to Schumacher. Schumacher back to Prater. 3 seconds remaining in the quarter, and foul called on Green. That's the 5th team foul. Prater will get free throws. 1.2 on the official clock. Prater too strong on the first. Off the back rim on the second. Late clock. Clock hasn't started yet. And finally, clock starts, and that is the end of the third quarter. All right, fourth quarter ready to start. Cougars with the arrow. Schumacher over to Gibson on the right wing. Backside for Jones. Jones able to bring it in. Pivot at the elbow. Looking for an option to outlet. Gets it back to Schumacher. Dangerous pass. Schumacher gets over to it. Over to Gibson. One more to Studer. Studer from 15. Rebound turns into another jump ball, and the Warriors have the arrow. Green over to Horonek. Can't control the pass, out of bounds, back to the Cougars. Schumacher with some pace, gets it to Gibson. Back to Schumacher at the top. Over to Jones. Tightly defended as Jones goes baseline. Pulls up from 10. Backside rebound by Gibson, and she draws the foul. Ainsley Gibson will go to the line for 2 free throws. First one rims out. Off the glass on the first one. Gibson tries to deflect the ball away from Horonek, but knocks her in the mouth, and Gibson gets charged with the foul. Warriors ball, Green dribbling. Green picks up the dribble, gets it over to Horonek in the corner. Back to Siebert for 3 from the wing. Rebound by Gibson. Gibson out to Pink. Ahead to Jones. Jones gets away with the travel as she floats it in. Loose ball, Jones on the floor. And jump ball called. Arrow now the Cougars. Leah Thomas and Ruby Keller checking in the game for their teams respectively. Schumacher inbounding, gets it into Thomas. Dangerous pass as she throws it right as a chest pass from 3 feet. Warriors into transition. Gibson able to pull down the rebound, outlet to Thomas. Thomas all the way in, finds Pink. Both Warriors there for the rebound. Keller's able to secure it. Thomas tightly defending on Keller. Keller over to number 32, Bradshaw. Into Anderson. Anderson from 18. Long rebound. Pink and Anderson fight for it. Gibson gets a hand on it. Anderson's able to deflect. Keller off the side of the backboard, gets on the floor, and timeout called by the Warriors before the jump ball can happen. It'll be the Warriors' possession underneath. Warriors now with 2 timeouts remaining. Warriors set with their inbound play as the Cougars come on late. Green on the ball to inbound. Late buzzer. They let it play. Anderson goes for the shot. Gibson there to block. Thomas turned it into a transition opportunity. And Keller steals but can't get her feet controlled and gets called for the travel. Jones into Schumacher. Schumacher looking for an option, gets it back to Pink. Pink back to Schumacher. Schumacher drives in, tries to get it over the head of Horonek. Stolen away by the Warriors. Anderson out in transition, pulls up the dribble, gets it over to Keller. Keller from 10, blocked by Jones. Gibson there for the rebound. Outlet to Jones, Cougars pushing. Backside deflection by Pink, and Horonek able to secure it for the Warriors. Green dribbling ahead. Schumacher picks her up. Dangerous pass across the middle. Keller able to get to it. Keller in and draws the foul called on Jones. Keller to the line for 2 free throws. First free throw rims out. 3 Cougars at the line to sub in. Marions, Studer, and Quaddy subbing in for Gibson, Schumacher, and Pink. Keller they count the free throw. Both teams violated, but they go ahead and count the free throw. Thomas in all the way to the basket. Ball deflected out, and it will stay Cougars ball underneath. Clock didn't start on that last possession. Marions taking the inbound, gets it to Jones from 12 feet. Backside rebound by Keller. Keller back into the middle. Picks up her dribble at the elbow. Dangerous pass. Thomas there to read it and steal. Thomas all the way in and puts it in off the glass. It looked like Leah Thomas may have got caught too far under the backboard, but somehow able to find the angle. Lead is now 7. Cougars back in a full court press. Green gets it to Keller. Keller baseline, pulls it up. Pink comes in for the rebound, or I'm sorry, that was Studer came in for the rebound, but gets a push in the back on Sickman, and it'll be a ball underneath for the Warriors. 3rd foul of the quarter on the Cougars. Green into Sickman, back up top to Keller. Keller being defended by Marions. Nice dribble pull-up shot by Keller. Offensive rebound by Stanley, put back, results in a jump ball, and it's the Warriors' arrow. Warriors will take it out underneath. Green into Keller. Nora Marion steps in and deflects it away. It will stay Warriors ball inbounding in the corner. Green down low for Anderson, off of Studer's foot, and will stay Warriors ball. Green finds Keller. Keller with the dribble, tries to cross over. Wild shot. And Jones comes in with the slap on Sickman as she was going up for the shot. Sickman will go to, or I'm sorry, they're calling it on the floor. Looked like that was a shot to me. That's the 4th foul on the Cougars in the quarter. Green inbounding, trying to find an option. Finally just throws it away. Quaddy there with the steal. Lila Quaddy pulls it up. Ball deflected, Studer there. Another attempt for the rebound, knocked away by the Cougars. 3 Cougars there fighting for the ball. They all knocked it away, and back to the Warriors. Under 2 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Ball into Green, ahead to Sickman. Down low, ball deflected by Studer, and it's a throw in for the Warriors underneath. Anderson with a fadeaway jump shot, backside rebound by Sickman, and tied up on the floor. Again, the clock didn't start, 1:48 on the official clock. Cougars have the arrow. Ball into Thomas. Thomas able to break into the front court, gets to Studer. Studer from 12 off the side of the rim. Loose ball falls to Quaddy. Quaddy goes for the layup off the backboard and knocked out of play, back to the Warriors. Lily Prater back in the game for the Cougars. Warriors all the way up to Sickman into the front court. Picks up her dribble, throws it to Keller, but ball falls into the backcourt, and Keller has to pick it up for a backcourt violation. Turnover back to the Cougars. Marins gets it into Prater. Over to Marins. One more to Thomas. Thomas looking baseline. At the block, Anderson gets the block. Thomas able to deflect it off of Anderson's foot. And ball back to the Cougars. I'm sorry, I think I'm not sure what they're calling. Okay, it's the Warriors ball. I thought Thomas knocked that off of Anderson's foot. Green into Sickman. Thomas comes in there aggressively, deflects it to Marins. Marins down low for Prater, and Prater sneaks it in. Cougars with their largest lead of the day, 22-13. Green across the timeline, picks up her dribble, gets it over to Keller on the left wing. Keller with the step back, looking for the shot. Marins tightly defending. Back up top to Green. Green picks up the dribble. Thomas there to read it and knocks it away. And it's still Warriors possession, sideline throw-in. Green in, Thomas there to steal. Thomas gets through the screen by Prater, and Leah Thomas with another basket. Cougars extend the lead to double digits. Green over to Anderson. Anderson from 18, ball deflected by Quaddy. Falls to Jones. Jones out pushing, looking for Quaddy up ahead, and Quaddy can't control it as she goes to the ground and out of bounds back to the Warriors. Keller, step back three-pointer. Rebound by Prater. Prater can't control it though, loses it right into the hands of Stanley. Stanley and Prater tie it up, and it's the Warriors ball, 2 seconds on the clock. Green finds Sickman, and Sickman puts it in at the buzzer. Final score 24-15, Cougars victorious. All right, we'll send you through the full game recap and then be back for the B game here in about 10 minutes. All right, we are just about ready for the B game. Cougars on the court. Eggleston taking the tip for the Cougars. Ball won by the Cougars. Quaddy dribbling into the front court, gets it to Marins. Marins back to Christian. Christian down low for Jensen. Loose ball. Christian gets in there along with number 42, Buccieri. And the arrow was the Warriors on the jump ball. Quaddy tightly defending. Traveling called on number 25, Stachura. Ball back to the Cougars. Marins ahead to Quaddy. Eggleston to Christian, down low across the paint to Jensen. Back to Marins from 15. Christian comes in for the offensive rebound. Finds position, can't get it to fall. Long rebound goes to Quaddy. Swing over to Christian. Baseline drive, and off of Christian's foot, back to the Warriors. Number 25, Stachura, brings it ahead for the Warriors. Wild pass across, and nobody's there to connect. Out of bounds, throw in, or inbound for the Cougars. Eggleston into Marins, quickly up to Quaddy. Across for Christian. Christian, wild pass to the top. She actually had Jensen down low if she could have seen her on the backdoor cut. And ball back to the Warriors. Stachura brings it into the front court. Quaddy tightly defending. Over to number 2, Luong. Stolen away by Quaddy. Lila Quaddy off the glass and in, and the Cougars score first, 2-0. Stachura into the front court again. Quaddy again defending. And Stachura saw the presence of Quaddy's arm, pulled the ball back, and gets called for the travel. Clock is still running. Now it's not, okay. Eggleston. Back to Jensen. Into Eggleston. Stolen away by Luong, but she steps on the sideline and turnover back to the Cougars. Eggleston gets it in. Jensen down low for Christian. Christian with the pound dribble. Oh, good idea. She just didn't get that last step to turn. Jensen comes in to tie her up, and the arrow is the Cougars. Jensen into Marins. Goes through Marins' hands. She's able to get it back and keep it in. Back to Christian. Over to Quaddy. Quaddy with a wild pass across to Eggleston, and out of play back to the Warriors. Stachura brings it ahead as Quaddy tightly defends. Over to number 42, Bucciera. Nora Marins defending. Quaddy comes in and pokes it away. Lila Quaddy off the glass, fighting for her own rebound. number 24, O'Valley, in for securing the loose ball. Buchera gets it over to number 40, Diaz. Diaz to the free throw line. Over to O'Valley, inside to Statura. Wild shot is off the mark and back to the Cougars. Aaron's quickly up to Quaddy. Across for Christian. Liliana Christian back to Lila Quaddy from 12 feet off the glass. Loose ball, rebound, tie up, and it's Warriors arrow. Three subs coming in for the Warriors. Number 20, Dinger. Number 22, Douglas. And number 23, Villanueva. Cougars going into a full court press. Luong throws it in. Jensen's there to steal. To Marins. Marins at the block, kicks it back to Quaddy. Off the glass, too strong, and knocked out of play by the Warriors. It will stay Cougars ball underneath. Aubrey Jensen taking the inbound, gets it into Marins. Rebound by Christian. Quaddy gets the next rebound. Throws it into the middle and knocked away by the Warriors. Marins tightly defending on Bucheria. Bucheria able to get through the traffic. Gets it over to number 20, Dinger. Down low, Aubrey Jensen steals into transition opportunity for the Cougars. Knocked away by Dinger. Quaddy gets it back, gets it to Christian. Down low for Jensen, but Christian gets called for the extra step and turnover back to the Warriors. Timeout called by the Warriors. All right, Warriors back on the court. Cougars in the full court press. Quaddy pressuring the ball. Inbound to number 42, Buchera. Marins and Jensen there to set the trap. And Bucheri knocked out of bounds on, looks like it was knocked off Marins. It will stay Warriors ball. Number 23, Villanueva there to inbound for the Warriors. Inbound it to number 2, Luong. Marin steals it away. Jensen over to Eggleston. Quaddy into the middle for Jensen. One more to Marins, off the glass and in. And Nora Marins scores the basket. Cougars now leading 4-0. Villanueva again to inbound. To Bucheri. Trap comes with Marins and Jensen. Bucheri tries to get through, dribbling all the way across as Eggleston comes up to set it at half court. Quaddy comes up, deflects it away. Bucheri gets it back and secures as the Cougars drop out of the man pressure. Villanueva on the dribble. Back to the top to Bucheri. Quade gets a hand on it, but Cheery goes to the ground, gets it over to Dinger. Villanueva in the key. Quade comes in and slaps it away. And tie up, arrow to the Cougars. 1 minute left to play here in the first quarter. Marins over to Eggleston on the left wing. To Jensen. Jensen dribbles high, gets it to Christian. Liliana all the way in, off the glass. Eggleston backside rebound, and in for two more. Camille Eggleston puts in the basket to give the Cougars a 6-point lead. Buchiri, Marin cuts her off as Jensen sets the trap. Buchiri dribbling all the way across with her left hand. Again, a trap comes. Getting close to 10, and 10-second count does come. Turnover back to the Cougars. Ball should be inbounded over where the trap was. Eggleston to Marins, over to Quade. Into Christian, down low for Eggleston. Oh, good look by the Cougars. And jump ball is the result, back to the Warriors. Villanueva looking for an option, gets it into long. 2 seconds remaining in the quarter, and that's the buzzer. End of the first, Cougars leading 6-0. All right, teams have broken the huddle, ready to start the second quarter. Cougars inbound. Marins over to Schumacher. To Christian. Ooh, bad pass to Marins and out of bounds. Turnover to the Warriors. Sachura back in the game, inbounding to Buchiri. Knocked away by Marins, still Warriors ball. Ball into Villanueva. Schumacher and Marins there. Buchiri, Schumacher knocks it away, able to get it over to Stachura. And knocked out of play off of Stachura's leg and back to the Cougars. Oh, dangerous pass by Marins. Marins gets on the floor and creates the jump ball, but turnover to the Warriors. Ball into Bachiri. Marins and Schumacher there on the trap. Over to Stachura. Villanueva draws the foul on Christian on the floor. And it's a inbound underneath for the Warriors' first foul of the game. Stachura in to number 40, that's Diaz. Schumacher gets a rebound and then throws it right away to the Warriors. Schumacher comes away with a loose ball, up ahead to Marins. Marins with her left off the glass and in. Schumacher steals it and draws the foul. Addie Schumacher going to the line to shoot two. Schumacher a little strong on the first. Good on the second, 9-0 lead for the Cougars. Ball into Bachiri. Able to find Stachura. Jensen into trap, gets it to Schumacher. Schumacher to the basket, off the glass and in. And the Cougars are up 11. Villanueva, Schumacher steals again and off the glass for two more. Bachiri over to number 40, Diaz. Diaz at the elbow, tightly defended by Jensen, and Jensen comes in to create the jump ball. Arrow to the Cougars. Studer in the game now for the Cougars. Eggleston inbounding to Schumacher. Schumacher into the front court, takes the shot off the bottom of the rim, and Marins and Schumacher came in for the tie-up. Schumacher called for the foul. Bachiri over to Diaz. Diaz into the paint. Ball deflected by Christian and knocked out of play. Will stay Warriors ball. Number 2, Luong inbounding. Shot by Villanueva is too strong off the glass. And knocked out of play by the Cougars. Still Warriors ball. Luong looking for an option, throws it in, knocked off of the Cougars. And will stay Warriors ball. Schumacher able to get the steal on the inbound. Addie Schumacher out in transition. Schumacher all the way to the glass and can't find the finish. Rebound pulled down by the Warriors. Diaz out to Bachiri. Over to Luong. One more to Diaz. Schumacher comes in and gets the steal. Gets it to Christian. Christian all the way in. Backside pass to Marins. And knocked out of play by the Warriors, will stay Cougars ball. Number 20, Emmy Dinger, back in the game for the Warriors as Ovali subs out. Eggleston inbounding. Gets it into Studer. Studer, nice step through. Able to keep it in. Christian in the corner, up top to Schumacher. Schumacher finds Marins. Marins from 10. Rims in and out. Studer there on the backside rebound and draws the foul. And Sadie Studer will go to the line for 2 free throws. .233 left in the second quarter. Studer a little strong on the first. Off to the right, off to the left on the second. Rebound pulled down by Diaz. Cougars dropping out of the press. Bucieri into the front court, being defended by Studer. Over to Dinger. Dinger long 2 off the backboard and hit Marins in the face. Eggleston able to pull down the rebound and outlet to Schumacher. Schumacher ahead, picks up her dribble, looking for an option, gets it back to Eggleston. Eggleston over to Schumacher on the wing. Finds Marins. Marins to Schumacher at the elbow. Can't get control of the shot, and air ball knocked away by the Warriors, will stay Cougars ball. Eggleston finds Schumacher. Backside rebound by Marins. Marins chucks it into the air. Studer gets in there and deflects it away. Studer looking to attack. Across for Eggleston. And Warriors come in and block. That was Diaz on the block. Knocked out of play, back to the Cougars. Eggleston finds Schumacher. Schumacher rips through. Cross for Studer. Studer steps into the paint, gets it back to Schumacher. Over to Christian. Christian into traffic. And tie up. Jump ball arrow back to the Warriors. Bucieri tightly defended by Studer. Dangerous pass into the corner and out of play. And back to the Cougars. Jensen to Schumacher. Schumacher pushing the pace. Over to Christian. Christian enters to the elbow for Jensen. Jensen into the short corner for Studer. Off the front of the rim, Studer fights for her own rebound. Looking for an angle, passes it across for Schumacher, but knocked off of, I guess it was off of Schumacher's foot, and back to the Warriors. Bucieri tightly defended by Studer. Picks up her dribble, looking for an option, finds Villanueva. Jensen picks her up, bounce pass, able to get it over to Dinger. Shot by Luong, gets her own rebound. Christian with the block. Another tie up by the Cougars. And it's the Cougars arrow on the jump ball. Addie Schumacher pushing the pace into the front court. Pass over to Marins. Marins picks up her dribble, finds Studer down low. Studer to the glass and puts it in. 15-0 the lead here in the first half. Bucieri up ahead. Marins comes in to read it, knocks it away. So we'll stay Warriors ball on the sideline. Long in to Bucieri, deflected by Studer, into the corner. Bucieri has a dribble if she can get it down. Looks like she's standing on the out-of-bounds line. And that is the end of the first half. All right, we'll take a halftime break as we send you through the first half recap, and we'll be back in roughly 5 minutes for the second half. All right, we're back, ready to start the third quarter. Warriors have the arrow. Cougars onto the court. Quaddy, Marins, Christian, Eggleston, and Jensen in the game. Warriors trying to find an inbound. Barely get it in. Buchiri there. Being tightly defended by Marins. Picks up her dribble. Gets it over to Diaz. Tough pass. Diaz able to get to it as Quaddy comes to pressure. Diaz from the elbow. Christian pulls down the rebound. Eliana Christian out on the run. Knocked away by Suchira. Jensen over to Quaddy. One more to Marins. From the elbow, loose ball rebound by Christian. She tries to go up with it, and jump ball called. Cougars have the arrow. Jensen inbounds to Christian. She gets knocked to the ground, looks at the ref, and asks for a foul, and finally gets one on the second action. Eggleston inbounding. Saw Jensen a little late as Stachura got over there to knock it away. Jensen finds Marins. Oh, Marins can't get the roll. Eggleston pulls down the offensive rebound, puts it back up. Loose ball goes to Quaddy. Quaddy back to the middle for Marins. Marins looks down low. Ball deflected. Jensen there. And foul called on the Warriors on the floor. Eggleston spinning the ball on the throw-in. Gets it into Jensen. Off the glass, Jensen goes for the rebound and pushes through the back of Buchiri. I believe Jensen gets called for the foul. Buchiri into the front court for the Warriors. Quaddy there to defend. Over to Diaz on the left side. Diaz picks up her dribble. Marins denying. Over to Stachura. Back up to Diaz at the elbow. One more over to Ovali. Thrown into the middle as Christian pulls it away. Outlet to Marins. Marins out on the run. Down low for Eggleston. Eggleston back to Jensen. Aubrey Jensen off the glass. Too strong. Quaddy on the backside. Deflects it. Diaz and Eggleston in for the tie-up. And the arrow is back to the Warriors. Or I'm sorry, it's the Cougars arrow. Ball into Jensen. Deflection. Buchiri on the floor and tie up, I believe, is the call. Arrow back to the Warriors. Timeout for a shoe tie. Chiri there to inbound for the Warriors. Quaddy tightly defending. Dangerous pass across, gets to Diaz. Chiri takes the shot and out of bounds. Back to the Cougars. Eggleston into Marins. Over to Jensen. Jensen from 10 off the glass. Backside rebound by Quaddy off the bottom of the rim. Marin's there, checks it over for the alley-oop for Jensen, and Jensen puts it in. Aubrey Jensen extends the lead to 17-0. Bucieri over to Diaz. Knocked away by the Cougars. Will stay. Marin's ahead, over to Quaddy. Quaddy to Jensen. Jensen down low for Eggleston. Ball knocked away. And will stay Cougars ball. Eggleston with her classic spin, gets it into Quaddy. Quaddy gets tied up. And trying to keep up with this clock milk in there, Dan. Arrow is the Cougars. Eggleston there to inbound, gets it into Marins. To the elbow for Christian. Christian steps through. And traveling called. Back to the Warriors. Bucieri ahead to Villanueva. Eggleston defending. Villanueva picks up the dribble. Up top to Bucieri as Quaddy defends. Over to Luong. Into the middle for Villanueva. Christian, nice defending. And jump ball called Cougars arrow. Marins to Quaddy, finds Eggleston on the cut, gets the elbow, dangerous pass across for Marins and deflected away by Villanueva for the steal. Bucieri, tightly defended again by Quaddy. Over to Villanueva on the right side. Eggleston defending. Pass to Stachura. Long two. Studer there for the rebound. Sadie Studer out on transition. Looking to get all the way to the basket. Blocked by Bucieri. Studer still with the ball. Kicks it out to Marins. Rebound by Eggleston and puts it in. Camille Eggleston with two more. And the Cougars lead 19-0. Bucieri picks up the dribble. Quaddy in there to deflect. Villanueva gets to the ball as Eggleston defends. Over to the short corner for Stuchira, takes the wild shot. Studer's able to pull down the rebound. Outlet to Marins. Marins out ahead. Down low for Quaddy. Backside rebound by Marins. Eggleston there for it. And jump ball tie up. Actually, they call a foul there. Foul called on Bucieri. It will be a throw in or a inbound underneath for the Cougars. Quaddy subs out of the game as Schumacher checks in. Eggleston gets it into Studer. Studer, nice rip through. Gets it to Marins from the elbow. Rebound pulled down by Villanueva. Under a minute to play here in the third. Bucieri into the front court. Pass over to the right wing for Luong. Down low for Villanueva. And Villanueva gets called for the travel. Ball back to the Cougars. 41 seconds left in the third. Marins ahead. Dangerous pass, gets it to Schumacher. Over to Christian. Christian in. And travel called with some more clock milking. Bucieri tightly defended by Schumacher, able to deflect it away, gets back to it. Inside for Villanueva. Turns and shoots off the bottom of the rim. Christian there for the rebound. Christian finds Studer up ahead, and Bucieri gets some contact. Studer never got the shot off. It will be a inbound underneath. Eggleston into Christian, ball deflected, will stay Cougars ball. Eggleston into Studer, long two, off the back of the rim. Bucieri and Schumacher there for the rebound and knocked out of play as the quarter comes to an end. Fourth quarter upcoming. The Warriors do have the arrow to come out in the fourth quarter. Have a couple replays to show you from the third. Marins with the alley-oop pass to Jensen. And then Marins with another alley-oop pass to Eggleston. All right, coming out of the third quarter break, the Warriors have the ball. Marins, Jensen, Quaddy, Eggleston, and Christian in for the Cougars. Bucieri with the ball. Eggleston defending. Over to Stachura. Marins there, back up top to Long. Ball passed into the middle. Jensen deflects. Over to Villanueva to possess. Back to Bucieri up top. Eggleston still defending. And Bucieri gets called for the double dribble. Ball back to the Cougars. Marins over to Jensen. Jensen has baseline if she wants it. Nice jab step to get baseline. Backside pass for Marins. Marins kicks it up top for Quaddy. Oh, and Quaddy puts it in off the glass. Nice possession by the Cougars as Jensen drove baseline, found Marins all the way across the paint, and then Marins kicked it up top to the free throw line for Quaddy to nail the jumper. Quaddy reaches in to get the steal. Foul called on Quaddy. Warriors will inbound in the front court. Cheery over to Villanueva. Down low for Luong. Quaddy reaches in for the steal. Quaddy out in transition. With the left off the glass, rebound to Jensen. Jensen puts it back and gets the roll. Aubrey Jensen with the bucket, 23-0, now the score. Bucieri over to Villanueva, barely keeps it in. Too long, back to Villanueva on the right wing. Up top to Bucieri. Cherry picks up her dribble, looking for an outlet. And pass deflected by Marins will stay Warriors ball. Cherry into the paint. 12-footer is good, and the Warriors are on the board, 23-2. Marins over to Christian. Christian passes to Jensen. Jensen able to handle it. Gets it back to Christian. Nice turn off the glass. Eggleston there for the follow. Eggleston again with the rebound. Marins there for one. Marins puts it up. Marins another rebound, gets it to Quaddy. And Quaddy puts it in. Bucieri wide to Villanueva. Quaddy goes for the steal. Jensen goes for the steal as the pass goes too long. Quaddy gets on the floor to tie it up. And it's the arrow back to the Cougars. Marins ahead to Christian. Oh, Christian got caught. Wild pass stolen by the Warriors. Chichira all the way ahead as Marins knocks it away. And out of bounds will stay Warriors ball. Quaddy deflects. Will be another throw-in for the Warriors. Ball in, Bucieri and Marins. Jensen comes in and ties her up. And arrow is the Warriors. All right, some confusion on the arrow, and so it will be the Cougars' ball. Ball into Jensen off the glass. Gets her own rebound, puts it back. Eggleston in there to fight for it. Kicks it back to Christian, high off the glass. Rebound pulled down by Bucieri. Bucieri crossover, shot from the free throw line off the front of the rim. Oh, Luong had the rebound but dribbled it off her foot. And turnover back to the Cougars. Sadie Student checking in for the Cougars. Number 40, Diaz checking in for the Warriors. Marins into the front court. Picks up the dribble looking for an option. Back to Jensen. Jensen rips through, gets it back to Marins at the top. Marins pivots, gets it to Studer. Studer turns off the glass and in. And 27-2, 1:30 to play. Bucieri over to Villanueva. Quaddy goes for the steal. Villanueva back to Bucieri. Bucieri picks up the dribble, looking for Stachura. And air ball back to the Cougars. Number 20, Dinger, and number 22, Douglas checking in the game for the Warriors. Schumacher back in the game for the Cougars as Quaddy takes a seat. 1:09 to play here in the fourth quarter of the B game. Marins all the way to the elbow, finds Schumacher. Schumacher too strong off the glass. Marins gets a touch on it, rebound pulled down by number 22, Douglas. Statura up ahead, gets it over to Bachiri. Eggleston defending. Bachiri to the free throw line for Diaz. Diaz turns and shoots. Rebound pulled down by Jensen. Pass to Schumacher in the middle, up to Studer. Studer goes for the shot, and Diaz pulls down the rebound. Bachiri all the way into the paint, off the glass and in. And that will do it, 10 seconds left. Cougars will bring it up for the last possession. Marins up to Schumacher, back to Jensen. Jensen from 15, off the glass, and Studer there for the rebound. That ends the game. That's a final of the B game. Cougars 27, Warriors 4. Cougars will be back in action tomorrow against Columbus at the Columbus Jamboree. They play, A and B both play, and I'm not sure of the times or the opponents, but I do know they play Columbus. We'll send you through the second half recap as we close out. Thanks for tuning in.